And we're back. This is Elliot and Jose coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again on CCW TV. We've looked at Marvel. We looked at DC. Let's look at a couple independent books and give them some deserved attention. First, from our friends at Boom Studios, we have Nola #1. It's an independent effort by... created by Chris Gorak with script by Pierluigi Cothran and art by Damien Cusero. Tells the story that takes place in post-Katrina New Orleans. Now, you could have checked out a preview of Nola and other Boom Studio books on our blog at comicculturewarrior.wordpress.net.
Yeah, I put up new previews Sunday through Tuesday. Sunday through
Tuesday. The good folks at Boom have been sending us stuff over. And also, if you're another independent publisher, or any publisher for that matter, who would like to have your stuff previewed on the CCW TV blog, you're welcome to send it over to us.
John Layman.
What is this book? And there's one flaw to this book. And I will say it's this. You look at this cover, and you think it's an action book. You read the book, not so much an action book, as much as a drama. Mm-hmm. In fact, when you really think about it, it's a lot like Underground. Remember we had that talk about Underground before?
It's really interesting you say that, because that's when I was going to start talking. I was kind of compare it to Underground, how... didn't really know how to go about reviewing it without making it sound boring, because it's nothing. It's kind of what reminds me of this. It's drama. It's told. It starts in the present in the book,
right?
And there's a series of flashbacks where you get to know the Nola character and find out what happened to her and so on and so forth. But it is very interesting. The characterization is really well done, but it is kind of like Underground, where it's a very slow build,
right? But an interesting slow build.
Yes.
Because the characters themselves, the people that you're meeting, aren't interesting people. Mm-hmm. And in comic books, characterization is really hard to come by. To come by people, there's always this. This is a word that gets thrown on our boards all the time. Are the characters relatable? I want them to be relatable. Well, you know what? You look at a book like Nola, and the characters are really quite relatable, because they feel like people you could know that you know in your own life, very much like Underground was. So, when you pick up this book and you look at the cover, if you're expecting Nola to be this Lara Croft type guns a-blazing and, the Sword of Vengeance type dealio, that's not to say she might not be that later. It kind of looks like that's what they're trying to set up. But in this issue here, you're seeing more of who she was before and how she became what she is, pretty much off the bat. The first issue is kind of like an origin issue, if you're going...
Yeah, it takes place a couple of days before Katrina hits New Orleans.
Right. And the character of Nola, really, she's like this young, free-spirited type gal. She's involved with a married man, having kind of a thing on the side, having a fling. And, again, the characterizations are done pretty spot on. Everyone who you see in this book, no one's got superpowers. No one's this super evil villain with nefarious intentions. It's just, people being people. And yes...
The mistakes that people make.
And really bad mistakes that people make. And, yeah, there is a villain in this book. But the guy doesn't come across as a villain who was, from the get-go, trying to be the villain. It's just, things just went really bad for him really fast, and he handled it really poorly.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's a really good book. Don't expect, again, I'm afraid to say, don't expect Lara Croft. Though it's funny, last few pages of the book, she does kind of like start opening up and firing on people.
Yeah.
And the book almost literally ends with a bang. So.
Well, this is one of those things where the action is not sensationalist. It's not over the top. It's just real. It's, her shooting somebody, bang, one time. Guy goes down. It's just like, and things just get worse from there.
Right.
As far as the situations that she's put in. So yeah, they just.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, you're right. It's not gratuitous violence.
Mm-hmm.
So hey. This is a good book.
And I am actually looking forward to picking up the next couple issues and reading it, because it looks like it is going to be good. I don't know. It's just a good story, and it's just interesting characters, and I'm kind of interested where they're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And another book that we really enjoyed, Dr. Horrible from Dark Horse Comics, Dr. Horrible #1, written by Joss Whedon's sibling, Zach Whedon. Now, for those who have seen Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog online, and if you haven't seen it, I mean, come on, you can see it for free. This is a prequel to it. Tells kind of the origin of Dr. Horrible, why he became the character that he was, his first meeting with Captain Hammer, and all the other
the
things.
hammer is his penis.
Yeah. And even his first meeting with Penny, the woman who would be his love. We had kind of mentioned this, but we were kind of concerned because the Dr. Horrible sing-along blog is...
It's a musical.
It's a musical. So, for the purpose of this comic, though, they kind of eschew all that. They just go straightforward superhero comic. And try to have a little fun with it. And Zach Whedon, you can see, has a lot of the same comic timing that his more well-known brother has. You know that joke was Zach's joke from Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. The hammer is my penis. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a little annoyed here that it seems like the Whedon family has all this talent that they've cornered.
And the Serranos have nothing?
Pretty much. This is going to piss me off if Zach Whedon becomes a comic book writer, and that's going to be yet another, name I'm going to have to compete with. What were some of the things where this book could have gone wrong? The artwork could have been, kind of bad. With the Buffy books, we've kind of taken them to task with the likenesses of the characters. In this book, the artist, Joel Jones, actually does a nice job of getting sort of the essence of Neil Patrick Harris and Nathan Fillion in the Captain Hammer and Dr. Horrible characters. I mean, it's not an exact, it's not like the Jerry Ordway version where they look exactly like them. But if you look at the characters, you see them. You see those actors in the likenesses in this book. The comic timing works really well. I've always said that comedy is one of the hardest things to write for comic books. And overall, if you were a fan of Dr. Horrible, you're going to like this comic book. It's a fun little comic book.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, it's Dr. Horrible, and actually the web series was awesome. I completely loved it, and I bought this because, obviously it's Dr. Horrible's origin. But some of the jokes work, and overall, it's so different from what I liked about the show.
Right.
I don't know. Some of it didn't work for me. Like I said, some of the jokes worked all right. I wasn't a big fan of the art, but I don't know. I mean,
I can see where you're coming from, because if you look at the TV series or the web series, it was a collaboration. Zach Whedon and Joss Whedon working together, and there you can see the touches.
And there's another Whedon in there too, isn't there?
No, it was Zach Whedon's wife is the third, but she doesn't have Whedon is not her last name.
No, I thought there was the other Whedon. Aren't there 3 Whedons?
Yeah, there are 3 Whedons, but I don't think the third Whedon was in Dr. Horrible. Could be wrong. Joss Whedon, I have a feeling if Joss Whedon had given this book a pass, it would have had a slightly different feel to it. But this was Zach Whedon's own bit, him on his own, and yeah, if you're going in expecting the web series, which is pretty much pretty brilliant,
that was my whole
Yeah.
thing. Like when this was coming out, I just didn't know how I was going to be able to replicate that at all, and it really didn't.
But it doesn't try to.
You're right, it doesn't.
It doesn't try to. Because how do you do a musical in a comic book? You know, I think only two people have been able to. Only one person really has been able to pull that off, and that's Brian Lee O'Malley with Scott Pilgrim. When Sex Bomb has a concert or any sort of song or music is involved, he figures out a way to incorporate it into the narrative. It makes it actually very interactive too. But yeah, I think with this comic book, they decided not even to try and just make it a straightforward, straightforward superhero or supervillain comic. It was good. I enjoyed it. And there are also other Captain Hammer and even a Penny story on MySpace. Dark Horse Comics presents, and you can also find a Felicia Day did a Guild story on.
I heard about
Dark
that
Horse
a couple
presents.
days ago.
I read that.
Yeah.
It was kind of cute. And there was I even posted a link to it on the blog.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it was fun. Fun books. When we come back, we will step back into the mainstream, but you'll have to see what. You'll have to see where, when